name is Sue Forsyth-Green, and I'm an AKC judge. Hopefully we'll have approval for the working group soon. I also do some sporting breeds, junior showmanship, and one toy breed. I grew up in dogs. I was a junior handler, and I was raised by two handlers who went on to become all breed judges. And I stopped handling to raise my son and came back to it when my son was on his own and doing his own thing.
I think that's sufficient handling for one lifetime, sons.
Between the dogs and him, it was quite a bit.
When you were handling Sue, what was your breed?
I showed all breeds. I did breed pointers with my father and boxers with my mother when I was younger. But I really enjoy showing all breeds, sizes, coat differences. Didn't matter to me.
And where are you based?
I live in Pinehurst, North Carolina.
What sort of country is that?
Well, my mother referred to it as God's country. We actually, when they passed away, I remodeled their house and moved into it. It's sort of a little bit of New England nestled into the sand hills of North Carolina. We are a huge golfing community, and now the USGA is moving into our town, and we will be having the US Open every 5 years here.
It's nice to hear about anything that sounds relatively normal. So when COVID struck us all in the early spring, what happened in your personal canine community, and then what did you do going forward?
Well, of course, none of us had dog shows. As judges, we just kept getting cancellation after cancellation. And then some states started to open a little bit. And the big question for everyone was, well, what judges are ready to judge? Because many of our judges are elderly and very up there in age. And of course, those are the people that are most strongly hit by this pandemic. So I run a judges group on Facebook for permit judges, connecting them with show chairs. And so I put it out there, who is ready to judge now? And so I put in another column, just letting people know this person's ready, this person's ready, this person's ready. And it really was very welcomed. It has been a huge help to show chairs, because instead of having to call people that have absolutely no interest in going out yet, they're not wasting their day calling these people. They have a list right in front of them for people that are ready.
So you basically created a resource that the community can use easily.
Yes, and it's connected to the resource that I started for permit judges and show chairs, so that show chairs could easily find people that were permit judges that they could hire that really needed the assignments. It's not easy being a new permit judge that does not have a full group yet.
So in a sense, this was a wonderful way of repurposing something that you had already created that was going to be a help to the community under these really extraordinary circumstances. Did people post comments to Facebook about what was going on?
There were people posting. I've seen lots of posts about, well, who's ready to judge? Well, just ask Sue. She's got a whole list. So I think the word really got out quickly that I had this list, and it is published on the Facebook page of AKC permit judges and AKC show chairs, and they can pull this list up at any time. It's on a spreadsheet. It's very easy to use, very easy to read, and it's not real techie because I'm not a techie person.
I think that's been one of the really punishing aspects of all of this, is just turning us all into force-fed computer nerds.
Yes.
It's delightful for things like this where we actually get to create instant community, but difficult otherwise. How many people would you say responded positively?
Oh, I would say a couple hundred at least. And I know we have about 740 members of the group, and I do not allow anyone in that is not either a judge or a show chairperson, because there's no need for that. So as far as how many are show chairs and how many are judges, I don't have a number on that, but I would say it is probably close to 50-50.
And that sounds as if it's about a third of your constituency, which is a really good percentage.
Yes, yes.
Do you know who has so far been able to make use of it, and of any shows that have gone forward partly in response to this?
I've had several show chairs just say, thank you so much for doing this, because it makes my job so easy. I would say there's probably 50 show chairs since COVID that have used this list, that it just, because they really were getting knocked down, having to call people and not having any idea who was ready to go out and who was not.
I think people often don't realize the incredible amount of organization that goes into making shows and how so much of it is volunteer. So to have another tier of complexity added.
Yes, yes. And it is all volunteer. I mean, your show committees, nobody gets paid to do that. And it's not easy work. And for these people to be able to put these shows together in 4 weeks' time, 8 weeks' time, is unheard of. I'm normally getting booked a year or two out. And for them to be able to do this in such a short period of time is amazing.
Have you yourself gone out to judge since this started?
Yes, ma'am. I have judged 4 times, and I'm leaving again in the morning.
Where are you going?
I'm going to Lima, Ohio. I'm doing a Siberian specialty and some sweepstakes for Springer Spaniels.
And what were the other 3 shows?
I did a Brittany specialty, a Great Dane specialty, and 2 all breeds.
And what was the mood? How did you feel the shows went?
I think they went great. I think people were excited to be out. Everyone was wearing their masks. They were social distancing. They were very aware of their surroundings and stepping out of your way, not hoarding the poor steward at her table. Everybody was really, really good. I have not had a bad experience yet.
Do you feel that this is partly the characteristic of the sport in general? It is one in which people spend a great deal of time in self-created communities, are naturally told to be polite and courteous in situations involving crowds and high stakes. Do you think that equipped people to be better about this than the average person?
I think this community was so starved to get back to something that they love, that they were willing to do whatever they needed to.
What's your view of things long term? And I'm not asking you to second guess the CDC or our president, but assuming that it's going to take a little time, how do you see things evolving for the fancy?
Well, personally, I certainly hope I don't have to wear a mask for the rest of my life. But I would really hope we could get back to some normalcy in the future. I know that people are trying very hard to make sure that these shows go on and that people are not getting sick, and I have not heard of anyone getting sick attending a show. I think it's our own responsibility. My mother taught me to wash my hands and to stay home when I was sick. I don't know why we need to tell people that now, but just to be courteous to one another and be kind. It's really not that hard.
Now, this is, of course, an industry. It's people's business. It's their livelihoods. But it's centered around something that it is scientifically proven creates a sense of well-being and love. Do you think that it helps that the center of this sport is dogs?
Absolutely. Absolutely, it does.
And what does your own household consist of at the moment?
A husband, 2 German Shepherds, a Whippet, and a toy Manchester Terrier.
Who's boss?
The toy Manchester.
I'm not surprised to hear this.
The Whippet is the snotty one.
Sue, this has been great. Is there anything else that you feel we should have talked about, or another point you'd like to make?
Not really. I think as a community, we are coming together and supporting one another. Of course, we have the naysayers, but, there's always going to be someone doing that. I think the majority of us have really banded together and worked together.
Making us a good herd.
Yes.
Pack.
Yes, exactly.